Do you live in a world filled with corporate data? Are you plagued by siloed departments? Are your lackluster growth strategies demolishing your chances for success? Are you held captive by the evil menace, Lord Lack? Lack of time, lack of strategy, and lack of the most important and powerful tool in your superhero tool belt, knowledge. Never fear, HubHeroes. Get ready to don your cape and mask, move into action, and become the Hub Hero your organization needs. Tune in each week to join the League of Extraordinary Inbound Heroes as we help you educate, empower, and execute. HubHeroes, it's time to unite and activate your powers.
I gotta be honest, I'm actually very excited about this conversation as well because, gentlemen, you don't get to be on the side of my typical trainings, but the amount of times that I've said I help you wrap HubSpot around your business instead of feeling like you're cramming your business into a SaaS software might be obnoxious if the human had to hear it every time. Luckily, I'm usually the only person that is always hearing it. They're hearing it once, twice, 3 times as we do training. And I feel like today we're gonna do some nerd wrapping as far as this goes, to levels that maybe I don't even talk about when it's customizing HubSpot to your business. So I'm very excited to be potentially a learner and an educator at the same time. But I have to ask you, listeners, viewers, when's the last time you actually customized your CRM records, your pages, listen, if I sit back and I think about the journey that I've been on since 2013 and helping humans, most teams set it up in onboarding and then it's just business as usual. They never really go back to make it better. Maybe there's some small tweaks here and there, but HubSpot has been shipping feature after feature. And if you haven't stopped and purposely looked at record customization lately, you might be missing some pretty dope things, which, by the way, for me as a human, that's scary. Did HubSpot send an update that you can do something cool that I'm not using in my portal and not teaching people? Which, by the way, you as a listener or viewer should have the same feeling of and not teaching our people. If you're the HubSpot super admin, the owner, the marketer, who else is going to disseminate the information across the organization? But you might be making your team, yourself, work harder than we need to. So today, this is what we're diving into. We're doing a deep dive. By the way, I say today, aren't I cute? We're probably diving in the next couple episodes on things around customization or conversations that rhyme with things around customization. So last week after the show, in kind of the green room, I started to ask you guys questions about what would you talk about if we talked about this thing?
That's exactly how you said it.
That's pretty much for sure. It is pretty much how I said it.
We said, hey George, let's talk about record customization, and he starts going, whatever you even customize.
All right. I might have sounded something like that, but maybe
and
not.
I was like, George, are you having a stroke? What is going on with you? And you're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, when I think about all the humans that aren't doing customization, maybe I am having a HubSpot stroke when I think about this. Okay, so wow, there's never a dull moment when you have Max Cohen and Chad Hahn in the room, I'm going to say. So let's start here. Okay, let's start with conditional sections everywhere, because you guys kind of started to lose your mind around this idea. So to give you listeners, viewers, some context, conditional sections now work across all 3 columns: left sidebar, middle column, right sidebar. And the middle column support dropped, I think it was July-ish, maybe, I don't remember, and was one of the, by the way, most requested features on the ideas forum for HubSpot. So, Chad, let's start with you. You are pumped about conditional sections everywhere.
Love them. Yeah.
For people who haven't touched this yet, give me a little bit of what it is and what problem does this actually solve on a kind of day-to-day basis?
Yeah. Well, it's not even conditional sections only. It's like it used to basically only be able to be driven by an enum once upon a time. So like a multi-select or a checkbox.
Stop. Don't
What?
say
a
enum, because a lot of people aren't going to know what the hell that means.
Right. Yeah, please.
I was explaining it.
Okay.
A multi-checkbox and a drop down. Don't just, let me finish, boys. Come
All
on.
right.
You think
Sorry.
I'm going to just leave these people hanging?
I mean, we don't do that here.
Yeah, we don't do that here. But yeah, like a single select, multi checkbox, drop down, something like that, right? It used to only ever be able to be controlled by some sort of distinct options property, right? Whereas now you can control it by numbers, by this number is greater than another property, then show this. And it's not only the little card sections, but you can actually even conditionally show tabs in the middle column too.
Yeah.
So a whole workspace, if you will, for a certain life cycle of a deal or a custom object or company that you don't need to see it prior to that. So it's really amazing. And in addition to that, you also have I'm not going to get into it, but I think that's another question later. But anyway, so the conditional sections is great because, let's say you're in the buying process or the sales process, right? And you're helping a customer through, and maybe you have some pre-implementation details that you need to collect after you're you have pricing approval, but you're going through maybe some final security thing with a larger organization. Well, maybe you can start doing some pre-onboarding or pre-implementation stuff because you're pretty darn sure you're closing the deal, right? And so you can get some people in there to fill up some of the time while people are, taking their time doing whatever that they take forever to do because organizations sometimes get big. And then show the card at that time or show it on a team-based view to the right team at that time, whereas another team might not even care at all. The properties exist in the database, in the spreadsheet of the object, if you will, but they don't really need to be shown to everybody. And even the people they need to be shown to only at a critical point in time in the life cycle. Yeah.
George, do you have the ability to share your screen for this episode? Because I feel like this is a very visual
I might be able to. Yes, let me get that ready. While I'm getting that ready, because Max, I'm coming to you here in a hot second. What I think I heard you say, I want to go back to that enumeration properties conversation, Chad. What I think I heard you say is that it used to be that you were harnessed or attached to that. But what you said is now that's not true. Correct. And so for folks who might have been feeling like that limitation was holding them back, we would now say, not today, son.
Not today.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Could be numbers, could be all sorts of different types of properties in HubSpot that you can drive it on.
And guys, I think you need to remember there's a lot of new HubSpot users that watch this show.
Yeah.
And what I am afraid of is there's a lot of those new folks sitting out there that have no idea what we're talking about. All right. So I think what we need to do first is provide some baseline understanding and some historical context. Okay?
You think we should do that?
I think we should do that.
Max, can I ask you a question? Do you think that's because that's the
human way to do it? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's also for the bots. It's also for the lizard people. Okay. We got to remember, we're not just talking to humans here. Okay. We got to broaden our audience a little bit.
Now, I might age myself. You talk about lizard people. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, just buckle up, hang in there for a second. We'll be talking about HubSpot in a hot second. I may be the only old one to know this, but reptilian lizard people. Do you remember the show V back in the day?
No.
Okay, I am old, and if you try to look and see if it's on Netflix or if it's on Hulu or something.
It's not, because it's only on silent film reels.
Oh, man, do I want to curse at you, Max. Okay, let's move forward. What do you want to show people? I guess I asked for that one, but I've got my screen up. What do we want to show people? And I've got to be careful because if this goes on YouTube and I show an email or something, they're like, demonetize. Anyway.
Yeah.
So what are we showing?
Well, so I just wanted to go to like a contact record.
Okay, I'm going to go to myself record.
Yeah, this is probably going to be an awful example because George B. Thomas has probably customized the ever living out of his HubSpot
No. You'd be surprised. Surprised. Okay. So that's I'm going to go to humans.
You renamed your contact object humans.
Yeah,
you're adorable.
Yeah. And companies as organizations.
Oh yeah. Well, so first of all, let me just pause for a second. If you're new to this, because now we're showing you things, we're not showing you amazing stuff because we're showing you my record, which is probably the worst record to actually show you. But anyway,
nice LTV
in my HubSpot. Dang, gone. The shots fired. In my portal, in your portal, you have the ability to customize the names of your objects. And so I changed contacts to humans. I changed companies to organizations, and I changed deals to opportunities because those are the mindsets that we have around the people that we serve with Sidekick Strategies, Beyond Your Default, Spiritual Side of Leadership.com, those kinds of things. So Max, go ahead.
And George, what you just did is you showed people one of the most fundamental reasons as to why you would want to customize your records in any way. I think the naming convention of the objects is a huge piece of it, right? Because a lot of times customizing your records, it doesn't mean like, just change the way it looks. It means it means get the shit you see inside HubSpot to actually make sense and be relevant to who's using it and what it all means to you, right? Like that's a huge piece. So for anyone looking at this and we're like, where's the humans object? What George did is he changed the contact object, the standard contact object that you're all going to have in your portal, to humans, because that's how he refers to them. And it makes sense for him and his process, right?
So you can literally bake your company culture into the structure of your HubSpot.
Correct.
I have totally, I've totally taken before from George, wrap HubSpot around your business to wrap HubSpot around your job role, right? I want to wrap HubSpot around the thing that you need to do so that you have everything you need in front of you and nothing you don't, and it's all there at the right time.
Mine was more cringe. I always used to say, wrap your business in a blanket of HubSpot love.
I like that.
That's delectable.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. Now, I want to say one little piece. I want to say one little piece, Max, before you head out on this journey that you're going to head out on to show and talk to people about this. Because I feel like my buddy Chris Carolyn will enjoy this. Like when you can get your data model to map to your culture, your organization, and the way that your processes and people work, then you have process, people, platform, data models, and culture. Like you're just in a different place.
And it feels more like a natural extension of your day-to-day work that you do and the way. Yes, exactly. Right. Everything's going to be more familiar and make sense. Go to George's contact record or human record in this case.
He's on it.
I'm on it. Right.
Oh, you are. Okay. Never mind. Well, wait, you have LLC in your name?
Oh, no, wait, hang on.
Come on now.
Hang on.
Come on now. All right.
About this human. There we go.
Wait, okay. All right. You know what? You've got a pretty vanilla contact record from what I've seen. Right. Right.
Yay.
Cool. Do me a favor, hide your email activity. That would be a good thing to do on the show. So go ahead and click on activity at the top.
Yeah.
Go unselect everything. Get everything.
Just click the communication box, probably.
Yeah. Click communications. Maybe that. We won't get sued. And amazing. All right. Wonderful.
Whatever. Well,
very
it's
cool.
just me. So
the people might watch this on YouTube. You don't know, right? Okay. So let's talk about this real quick.
Yeah.
What did customization used to look like on records? Okay.
Yeah.
For the longest time, folks that may be new to the HubSpot world, the most you could do is just simply add properties on the left-hand side, right? So we're all very familiar with this about this contact section, which says about this human on the left. And George, if you go ahead and click on that, you'll see a bunch of properties on what we call the left-hand sidebar, all right? For the longest time, this left-hand sidebar was the only thing that you could customize in HubSpot, and you could customize it a long time ago, right? Like you could put contact properties in there, you could reorganize them, you could do this, you could do that, and that was basically it. The problem is, as a lot more different types of folks started using HubSpot and started holding a lot more different types of data inside of it, these about sections started to become extremely cumbersome and very messy, and you usually had to go through this exercise of infinitely scrolling down the left-hand side in order to find the data that you're looking for.
Can you pause there for a second? If I ask you to pause, will you lose your train of thought?
Maybe. Who goes? Let's find out.
Okay. Can I tell you something that just pisses the... Oh, my God. Listen, if you can see at the top of your record... My name is George Thomas. My email is george@georgebthomas.com. If you have the name, first name, last name, and the email in about this human drop-down section, can I just ask you why? Like, it's at the top of the screen. So now you've added 3 additional, by the way, job title is probably up there too. Why? And get it out of the about section if you're seeing it somewhere else.
One reason.
Oh God, here we go. Okay.
And it's so you can easily see the property change history without having to go through all property history. If you go to all view property history, you have to search for the property name in there, but you could just come down there and click on details. So if for some reason you're debugging something, you want to see the change history, the details, you can't see the deets from up there.
Yeah, true. You'd have to hit actions and view history, and then
how many of your users need to do that besides an admin? So if it's in there for your team, that's pretty silly. But if you have some reason, you can add it to your personal view. I like for you that's not in the main view.
And this is also a good question. Which is a good question. Is HubSpot admins out there, do you have your own admin view separate from what you're creating for your team views? Okay, Max, hopefully you didn't lose your...
No, I'm good. Okay. I think you brought up a good point. This is like a good mental exercise that people can do when they're like evaluating the current state of their records and how they have their information laid out. Like look and see if you have redundant stuff taking up real estate that could be used by something more valuable, right? Like this is a good example. First name, company, and email address always showing that card on the top left. And I think there's even aren't there either features that have come or more features that are coming that might
you can
let you show
now.
Other info? Yeah, right. Like you can choose what shows up there, which is pretty tight, right? But you had these sections on the left, right? This human section. For the longest time, that was the only customizable thing that you could do, right? But then they added the ability to add additional sections. So George, go and customize this record. Now, when you folks are looking at this, go ahead and hit default view. But real quick here, folks, the default view is just kind of the record that everybody sees. You can customize your record layouts by the teams that people are on. So what that means is you can say, hey, when the sales team looks at this record, this is what they'll see. When the support team looks at this record, this is what they'll see. When the marketing team looks at the record, this is what they'll see. Right. So when you have people that complain, oh, I got to sift through all this irrelevant stuff to find what I want. Right. That's one way you can tackle that. Right. There's also the trains of thoughts where maybe it's one view but different tabs, and we'll get into tabs in a second, right? But for the longest time, the only
can you hold your train of thought?
Yeah.
Just hold your train of thought for 1 second. By the way, everybody's like, gee, George's looks kind of vanilla. And then all of a sudden, as Max brought up, new users might be watching or listening to this, and they're like, excuse me, can somebody please tell me why there are 3 grayed out boxes on the left-hand side of George's thing? Ladies and gentlemen, those are conditional areas that show up based on a property that is known. So if you reckon back to one of the top things that was in my About George B. Thomas record was, are we socially connected? And if that is a yes, then the LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook show up on the sidebar so that I have their information so I can go and engage with them on social. Can anybody see where conditional logic to being connected on social, to be able to track and put their information in, to then have conversations, might tie into, I don't know, some kind of strategy? All right, go ahead, Max.
But you also bring up a good point there too, because I think there are certain times where it's like, hey, if we don't have this information, don't show this section, right? But there's also some times where maybe you do want to show an empty section of properties as a little mental cue to be like, hey, you don't have this info, fill it the out, please.
There you go.
Right? And sometimes you can do subtle stuff like that instead of like really annoying, process rules or stuff like that. Right?
Are you saying that HubSpot super admins can be annoying?
Yeah. Dude, are you serious? And sometimes, hey, it's an art form. Sometimes you need to be a little bit annoying, right? In order to keep your data hygiene, good, right? Yeah. But again, guys,
I have a quick call out too. Sorry, Max, we keep interrupting you.
No, you're good. You're
just
good.
On the object.
I like this show. The amount of times that we've like, hey Max, stop for a second. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey Max, lose your place. All right, let's go.
No, please save your space.
Yeah. So on the left-hand sidebar, it's designed, or at least it currently only functions with properties of the object type that you're on. I think that's an important call out.
Correct.
Because other sections don't have that restriction. But the left-hand sidebar is, so like, let's say you're on contacts, humans.
Nice.
Yeah, sorry, I stole it. That was just my, Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
That's enough. That got weird.
Lovely. Thanks, Max.
Oh, is that all you were saying? Okay.
Yeah. Just basically that they're on the left-hand side. It's for the object type you're on. So contacts will only show contact properties, companies, company properties, deals, deal properties. So that can be like, sometimes people want to see associated object information, but they haven't built the infrastructure like they have for the middle section to handle that on the left-hand sidebar. Just a heads up.
Yeah.
So again, going back to the biggest level that we had of this, right? You could add another section here. And why would you want to add another section here, guys? Right? Well, if you want to visually, or not a tab. We're not even there yet. Just hover under about this human. Hover under about this human on the left.
About this human on the left.
Add card.
The lid.
Right? And you can add additional property information, right? And why would you do something as simple as this? Well, sometimes you just want to have different sections of information because it's way easier to see and find information when you have it organized instead of one massive list of stuff, right? So that is like record customization 101. Organize your information, right? So you can add these sections. Okay. And so once George goes and adds this section, you'll see the section show up on the left-hand side. Go just add any random property here. Cool.
And also the user permissions is really nice as well. Like you can give people the ability to add their own additional properties to the section or restrict it to be always the same for all team members.
Yes. So like if you want people to be able to say, oh, I'd like to see this here and just have that affect them, you're allowed to do it. You can also lock it down if you want to avoid any confusion. But what George also just did is George clicked on this section on the left-hand side, and you'll notice there's this cute little thing called set conditional logic. All right. What conditional logic fundamentally means is you say, if something is true or if something equals something, show this thing, right? So the most basic example of this, right, is you might have information on a contact record or any record for that matter that is only relevant to show if that person meets some kind of condition. So like, you can say, hey, there is a section of like customer information that would have like, historical total sales, customer lifetime value, their emergency contact info, like whatever is relevant to a customer of yours versus someone who is not. Right.
See, you might tell Max is from the event space.
Yeah, a little bit.
You can tell Max is from the event space. Emergency contact. If you pass out at the event, who should we call?
Sure. But the whole point is you don't want to waste giant sections of your records on information that you don't need, on like a bunch of stuff that's not going to be relevant at that point in whatever life cycle that record is at, right?
Yeah.
So you can come in here and you can say, hey, if this property equals something, then show this information, right? That's the basics of a conditional field. And for as long as I can remember up until very recently, this is all you could really do when it came to conditional sections. You could add them on the left-hand sidebar.
Yeah.
Right. More recently, with this new beautiful, this editor is like the record editor in HubSpot.
This is awesome.
It's sexy.
Real.
It's sexy.
If you've ever done this in Salesforce, you know that this is a freaking nightmare, especially for new users, right?
Without a doubt.
But this is a very, very, very easy to use. As soon as you kind of understand, like, you got to hover over a lot of stuff to see different things, right? Like, that's my one gripe with it, right? But that same sort of functionality of being able to create conditional sections is now something you can do in this middle panel. It's also something you can do on the right panel as well. So you now have full conditional control across all three sections of
and on the tabs.
These things. Yeah, and on the tabs. Chad, why would someone want to make a tab? Talk about
tabs are great. I love tabs. I love tabs. I mean, I ended up making a tab recently for our pre-implementation team to parse through pre-implementation survey data, right? So they'll go through. Yeah. It's like all the stuff they ask a question, for us, we're in healthcare. So it's about their tech stack, about their setup, and we made a form to collect the data that's conditional based on whatever products they bought. And then they turn that into a playbook where they do a live discovery. So they collect simple information from the customer and drill in deeper, right? And then they end up going through and running a playbook that also updates those same properties. And we're going to ultimately be turning that into with, I think, probably a Portent integration or maybe do something custom where we create a deliverable out of that survey process. Make a file into a Google Doc or a spreadsheet or something.
Yeah.
Dope.
And just so people know, the big fundamental difference between that left-hand tab and the middle tab, besides what Chad said earlier about that left-hand tab is just going to have properties or contact properties, it's also only going to show you properties, right? You'll notice when you hover over and you click add card on the left-hand side, George, right? So just hit that. No, that's the right.
Wait, the left, my other left?
Hit that one more time. Hit that one more time. When you click that, you only can do property lists, right? Which means we will show these properties, right? And there's a couple other cards there too that George kind of flashed over, right? These are like some standard HubSpot ones, right? I would love to see them open up the UI extension stuff a little bit for the left-hand side. That's a different conversation to have. The middle panel, however, if you go and hit add card in here, we'll get to sections, George. We'll get to sections.
We'll get to sections.
The middle panel gives you a ton more real estate to play with, right? You can either have this be the center third of the, well, I should say more third. It's like almost like the center 2/3 of the page, if you will. Right? You can have all sorts of cards that do all these beautiful different things, and there's no way we can handle every single one of these on this episode.
It's so good. Calculations are awesome.
You could put reports on here. You can have you can put giant tables of records, everything under the sun you'd ever want to see. You also see a lot of apps for HubSpot build cards that show up in here too as well. Right. And this adds a ton of functionality to your records, right? Beyond just customization. We'll keep it more of a customization thing, right? But a big reason you'd want to have tabs is kind of the same reasons why you'd have different sections on the left, right? That middle panel can get so overwhelming. And if you have a lot of cards in there, you're falling into this same trap that you fall into with the left-hand sidebar, where if you have a ton of stuff in there, you end up in this like infinite scroll to find the stuff that's relevant to you, right? Whereas tabs, until we had sections, tabs kind of were the one thing that would help you organize those middle panel cards in sort of, a 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional way. I'm not sure how to say that. But you can have different tabs that, again, are relevant to different like things you might do for that customer or things about that record or things that certain teams may be doing, right? But they weren't conditional. And what really sucked is that like when you had a lot of teams using HubSpot and it's like, service like has 12 a tab,
tabs up there.
Marketing has a tab, sales has a tab, this has a tab, that has a tab, this type of data has a tab. You ended up just having like 1 billion tabs up at the top, right? So that was a problem. But now when you build out your tabs, those can also be conditional, right? So tabs only show up under certain circumstances.
Oh, don't even pull up this card. Don't pull up this card.
Get there. We'll get there.
This one sucks.
The one thing you could do, because keep in mind, the one thing that you could do to get different tabs to show up, however, was creating completely separate views for different teams.
Yeah.
Because the tabs could be different if you had different teams in there, right? But you couldn't just have one unified record that was like, just showing everything. I like having one record and just having it be very like dynamic and it changes stuff. That way it's like, did I make these changes here? And did I make it on this one? And then make it on this one? Then make it on the other view? Right? Like I'm very much a one default view type of guy that's like very dynamic, right? But as you can see, you can add in different section or cards here. And recently they added this awesome new thing called sections. Okay. So George, hit a section. Cool. And you can name it, and this will create collapsible sections of tabs. So it's almost like a tab within a tab, kind of, right? But it helps you.
It's tabception for sure, yeah.
It's tabception, yep. But it helps you organize and sort and categorize the information within that tab, right? So if you have a bunch of different cards, you can put a bunch of different cards in there and organize them within these tabs. And an even cooler thing you can do is you'll notice you can drag cards side by side.
Only two wide, but still.
Only two wide. And depending on how the card is designed and how much information's on there, you may want to experiment, because I'm sure some cards, if they're got pretty basic info in them, are probably going to look good stacked side by side. Like you could probably always get away with it when it comes to like property cards, right? But like giant report cards, you probably don't want to do that. UI extensions from apps that have a lot of functionality probably aren't going to translate well to that. They might, right? But you want to make sure like you kind of play around with the layout that works for you. And then George, if you go and save this and you go back to your record so we can show what it looks like when someone plays with one of these, right? So you've got your new tab. I think it's called My New Section on the right, top right.
Yep. Here we go.
Yeah, here's the conditional section on the left, right?
Yeah.
And the user can move that stuff around. And then you go to My New Section on the top right. This is the new tab you made, right? And you'll notice it's in this section called My Top Section. And you can collapse it. Right?
How cool is that?
So sick.
Sound effects are free.
There's also this, I think, interesting conversation going on. I don't know how many people are having it, but I'm kind of thinking about it a lot. I'm wondering if the right-hand tab is going to go away. Or the right-hand section is going to go away. Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah. There used to be
I don't think so.
A lot of stuff. Hold on. I mean, people can effectively eliminate it now.
Well, you can.
They just expand it open.
Yeah. Another fun fact about the right-hand sidebar over here, and I think this is the reason it survived for so long, is that for the longest time, integrations that built UI extensions, which are like cards that have functionality from whatever app is integrated with HubSpot, this is the only place that they were allowed to live, right? You would see some card on the right-hand side from, I don't know, like MailChimp or SurveyMonkey or Happily or like whatever other app you have integrated. And they would add other functionality there. You could also build totally custom ones that you develop on your own, and they would live on the right-hand side. More recently, in the last like couple of years or so, a lot of those UI extensions are now built in the middle panel, which is really cool, which gives like
what I'm showing right now.
Yeah, those apps a lot more control over what they can do. Yeah, here we go. Here's a bunch of these different app cards. It gives them a lot more space to play with, right? So more and more stuff is graduating out of that right-hand side into the middle. The other big thing that always used to live over there were association cards, right? So for example, you got organizations there, right? Your company card showing the records that are associated to this object. Now, me personally, I like that. I think that's cool, but you could easily move this stuff into a middle panel. And the reason you may want to do that is you can see more information about those associated records. George, do you have any examples of middle panel cards you've done for like association tables?
No.
Dude, let's do one right now for the people. Let's customize it, right? So why would you want to have, for example, let's use the company card as an example.
Yeah.
Why would you maybe want to have it in a middle panel versus having it on the right-hand side? right? Well, let's go add a card here, right? So you can add something maybe outside of your section. Yep. That way we can collapse it and show how it stays.
I also like association label lists for like identifying decision makers and things. And we haven't even gotten into buying groups and stuff. But
association label tables need so much work. But I agree. Like they're cool, but they suck.
Well, association label lists are interesting just to see the presence, because it shows like a card next to it. So I feel like those can be kind of helpful depending on your use case. But
it's cool, but like that needs a lot more functionality, right? Like it needs to show you when you don't have something with that label. It needs to give you a quick, easy button to add it, pick a record, and automatically do it. I've given them this feedback a lot. But anyway, so let's go and add it should be called an association. Do they call it cards or tables now? Can you search?
Association table. I think.
There you go.
That one.
Wait, what's an association card?
Yeah, an association card. That's what I'm telling you about, Mr.
Right?
Wizard.
I thought you were talking about label list.
No. This is like an association label list and an association, an association. It's the association card or an association label card. It shows you if that type of record is present, and if it's not, you can add one. It's really great.
Oh, great! I didn't know they did that.
It's what you were talking about. I was going to say, like, I'm pretty sure I just added that to our whole deal progression buying process in ours.
Let's do a table really quick, just so we can show people the tables. So, like, if you want to see all the records that are associated, and you have a table here, right? Come in, go add an object type, do that company or organization. Call this like organization stuff. Yep. Save. Right. Choose an object type at the top. Object type. Nope. Down a little bit. It's bold text.
Oh,
there you go.
There we go.
And then you choose your object here. The big thing here is you can add up to 12 properties. So instead of being regulated to the 3 that automatically show, and it's the same for all your records, you can choose all the information that shows up here. You can filter it. You can add quick filters as well if you want to filter through a bunch of the different records, right?
So giving the quick filters is killer, because if you have certain things that you categorize your associated organizations on, then you can really easily give your users the ability to take 100 associations down to a couple, right? If you need to.
Exactly. And you got to think about who's using this and why they would access this information. Everyone always just skips the quick filters and leaves the default ones, which I think is crazy, right? Like you want to ask yourself like, hey, if I am in X role and I'm looking at these and I need to find associated records, what are the most common things that I'm going to sort them by, right? Because leaving the default probably isn't going to be it. Right. And it's just going to make it look messier.
Yeah. So sort is helpful. Like deals is nice because you could do close date and it's associated by close date, newest, most close to now to oldest. You could do, like a life cycle stage entrance date if it has one. And then you can even pre-filter the table too, which is also helpful. So it locks it in to only show you pre-filtered data if you have a lot of associated records.
So George, save this and let's show people what it looks like. Yeah, save that. Go back to your record. So you'll notice this is outside of the section. So even though he can make that section show or not show, right? But this is going to remain because it's not within a section. But instead of just seeing, a card with like, I think it's still up to 3 additional properties, right? That it'll show you. You can have a table that shows you as much as you want, right? So
I think it's 12.
Scroll. Up to 12.
Up to 12.
I'm saying it's up to 3 on the right-hand card, right? When it shows the thing.
If you're looking where George was just pointing, right?
Exactly.
So that's the same to associated records here and there, right? And another thing that's helpful is when you click filters on associated organizations, then you can dive into the association label. Only show me ones that are associated decision maker. Or team, owners, whatever, all sorts of really helpful stuff.
Something to remember though is this is done by the user as they're viewing the record. What stinks is you can't hard filter this by labels.
Yeah, you can.
But you can.
You can. Yeah, by labels, you go to the association label table.
All right, so let's go to it.
And then you can pre-filter it by labels.
All right, I need to see the label table now because I didn't think this existed.
He needs to go back to settings.
Go add another one. Customize.
George, Come on, screen driver.
I'm working on it.
George is just getting joysticked by his boys right now. This is so funny.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good.
So now add a new card. No, you can't do this one. It's a new card.
Okay,
yeah,
so what do you want me to add?
Label. Type in label in search cards. Oh, that's the label list. Okay, so it's the label list that'll do it. Okay. This is what I was telling you about.
Yeah, okay. This sucks. I'll show you why. I'll show you why I hate this. Go choose the label. So choose opportunities or organizations and then add your label here.
Yeah, so it shows you one or more labels.
Yep.
So let's say I think you have decision maker on there as well on one of your associated.
Perfect.
Yeah. Then it shows you the same structure as your default properties, I think, right?
Yeah. So hit save.
So you know how I've gotten around what you're talking about? And now you can add them, right?
Oh, can you customize the properties here?
I don't think so.
Hold on.
It just shows you the presence.
Yeah, it stinks.
Yeah, it does.
That stinks. That's what I want. I want a table that is hard filtered by labels. Right.
So do you know how you can get around that or how you can do that?
Tell me.
No, so create a roll-up property that is a count of the number of associated whatever labeled records. And then that's how you do it with a pre-filter.
Ding, 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 ding.
Wait, what?
Okay, there was a TKO right there. You went absolutely.
No. Stop. Wait, what? I didn't understand that. Say that again.
All right. So you go to the object that you're on and you create a roll-up property.
Yeah.
That is
associated records.
Count of the associated records of records that have that label and have a record ID. And then you use the association table and pre-filter it by that number is greater than 0. And it'll show you
Max's.
It's not a feature.
But it's a way to get her did.
So wait. So you filter the table.
Yeah, pre-filter. So go to the settings on associated organizations, George.
What? I don't get.
Yeah.
I don't see how that gets
right here.
Yeah.
By the way, so know that we have 1 minute left. Okay. So I'm going settings here.
Yeah. Okay.
Pardon me.
All right. Now where it says manage filters, go down. Manage filters.
Down. Yeah.
Yep. And then you pre-filter the table for the user by number of associated contacts is greater than 0. And that will get you. But if your calculated property that you create that's a roll-up is a roll-up of only associated record types with that label,
on the other
that'll
side,
get you to the on this side. It's on the record you're on. So like if I wanted number of associated decision makers.
Doesn't this break if you have multiple labels?
Well, no. I mean, if you do this. This would only work for one association label type.
Yeah, but because you're looking, this is a property on the record you're looking at.
Yeah, exactly.
How would that filter out different objects that are associated to it that have different labels, though? Maybe I just don't get it.
So, like, if you're looking for a number of associated, like, if you wanted to filter this card, this would functionally be the same as being able to filter that table by decision maker, for example.
Ladies and gentlemen, tune in next week as Chad continues. Tune in next week as Chad continues to explain. Maybe next week, Chad, you show your screen and walk through what you just said.
We can talk about that.
Also, maybe a product manager is listening to this and just builds a association table that has labels that you can filter with. That's all we need.
Pre-filterable labels.
So crazy. Yeah. Avoid me getting cancer from whatever Chad's going to show me next week, please. Jeez.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, can you believe it? We only really talked about like one little area. If you haven't customized your records, that's your call to action for this week is go and think about your teams, think about what they need to see, think about what they don't need to see, because all of this conversation, by the way, for this week, next week, and who knows how long, it's about making HubSpot easier for them to use, showing them what they need to see and hiding what they don't to remove confusion. And we'll see you in the next episode of the Hub Heroes Podcast. Not next week, because I'll be on a cruise ship celebrating my 25th anniversary with my wife.
Nice.
But the week after that, we'll see you back here. Okay, Hub Heroes, we've reached the end of another episode. Will Lord Lack continue to loom over the community, or will we be able to defeat him in the next episode of the Hub Heroes Podcast? Make sure you tune in and find out in the next episode. Make sure you head over to thehubheroes.com to get the latest episodes and become part of the League of Heroes. FYI, if you're part of the League of Heroes, you'll get the show notes right in your inbox, and they come with some hidden power-up potential as well. Make sure you share this podcast with a friend, leave a review if you like what you're listening to, and use the hashtag HubHeroesPodcast on any of the socials and let us know what strategy conversation you'd like to listen into next. Until next time, when we meet and combine our forces, remember to be a happy, helpful, humble human, and of course, always be looking for a way to be someone's